Right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the much depleted Parish Council extra meeting. I've got it on, it's on. Can it go any louder?
Anybody else?
Is that better? Is that better? Hello? Is that better? Right. Right. Number one, to receive apologies for absence. There's 9, is it? We've got the 9. Okay. Do you accept those 9 apologies?
Can I come in on this, Chair?
Not really, but
right.
This
I do, because I can't get it over there.
Yeah.
Can everybody hear me? Yeah. Can everybody hear me? Yeah. Right. The thing on the agenda at the moment is to receive apologies. Can I just say, Chair, this meeting has been brought forward tonight because we can't get council business done due to the meetings overrunning for various reasons, and I won't go into them. It's quite clear that one of the items we didn't discuss at the last meeting was to do with Councillor Dalton and her article she put in the press. If you look at the book, nearly every single person from the Labour Party has put an apology in tonight, so we can't discuss this. And I think it's absolutely shameful that when we're bringing councillors to account for making vicious comments against the public, that they're not turning up to be accountable. And I hope this will be noted in the May elections. I personally will not vote to authorise their absence.
Well, I don't think there's any question about it. They've apologised. Do we accept them? It's to receive apologies, and we've got to receive. Must have been sent in.
Well, I'm not voting.
And just remember that the public don't get any speaking tonight. No wonder we don't get business finished when you keep it.
10 minutes to end.
Let's go on.
Right.
Go on.
Sorry. That's on the point of order. You've just opened the meeting, Chair, and gone straight to number 1. What's happening to the public question time?
There isn't any today because this is not a regular meeting of the council.
This is a full meeting of the council.
If you look at standing orders, it says that the council meetings, as such, are on the 3rd Monday of each month. But this is not the 3rd Monday of the month.
Right.
So,
let me just clarify a point, if I can.
Yeah.
As you know, by law, we're summoned to these meetings.
Yeah.
And I'll read where it says, "You are summoned to attend a meeting of the Anston Parish Council on Monday the 2nd of February." So that's a full council meeting. I also have an email from the clerk, I think it was last week or the week before, informing us that the meeting would take place on the 2nd of February. And on that email, it states quite clearly it was a full council meeting. So, if we're having a full council meeting, there's no different from any other council meeting just because we're having it on a different day.
Yeah.
The public, if they so wish, have a right to ask a question.
No, they don't, Stuart.
Right, well, put it this way. If we sit here as a council and don't allow the public to ask questions in our meetings, what does that look like to the outer world? It's undemocratic.
What we're trying to do...
Just don't shout over me.
No, Stuart, sit down, because you're wasting
Can I
time.
just...
No,
What I'm telling you is this, that all this agenda is a follow-on from the last meeting. That's what it is to try and get rid of all the stuff that we've been hanging about. So it is not a proper monthly meeting, it's an extra meeting to get rid of all this rubbish that we've got.
It's a full council meeting, and I mean, do we councillors here, do we think we should put, because the chair, you haven't got the right to make arbitrary decisions.
Can I just...
Look, if I decide to go home, you're not court, you can't have a meeting.
Well, if you decide to go home, that's your problem.
Can I just ask for a bit of calm? It's really... There is nothing on the agenda for the public to speak at the beginning, but there is 10 minutes at the end. Seeing as there aren't many of us here, councillors, to ask questions of, unless you've got any specific ones to us, which hopefully not. if we proceed, if everybody's in agreement, because some of these items are going to have to be deferred anyway, because there is no point discussing them as the people aren't here, so there's not much point whatsoever. I've got one or two proposals that I need to make on certain issues, but some items will no doubt get deferred again because the people aren't here that are involved in them. So if Councillor Thornton's sort of happy with that, if the public,
it's not me. It's whether the public are happy with it. If the public are happy, I'm quite happy to go. If the public are happy, I'm quite happy to go with it.
Right.
Excuse me, John.
Yes.
As Councillor Stonebridge hasn't been for 6 months, wouldn't it be right to send him a letter to say he's no longer on the council?
Just check that.
Last attended on the 14th of October.
14th of October was the last attendance.
Not at the council meeting.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter. It does matter. At council meetings you are summoned.
Legally, it
At the other meetings you are invited.
Right, let's
It's
just
an
take the
official
legal advice.
Okay,
from
okay.
Give us the legal term.
I think there's been legal precedent set for this, and I think it was something like a Remembrance Day parade, and I think an election actually had to be cancelled at last minute. I think as far as I'm aware, if you represent the council anywhere...
That's classed as council duties.
Right.
Can I just say, I checked up on that about Councillor Stonebridge, to be fair, and I've got the 14th of October, which was a finance committee meeting, which is an official meeting of the council, so I think you have worked it out, it's April. If you don't come, there is 6 months is up. So I think that's fair.
Can I just come in there? That finance meeting of the 14th of, was it October?
Yeah.
That meeting didn't take place.
But
That meeting was abandoned.
We did open it though.
We did open it and then close it, so it was here. Right, 10 minutes of the meeting's gone already.
Well, we've got all night because we're not going to have much discussion, are we?
Look, if you're going to start arguing, Stuart...
Don't have a go at me, I haven't done nothing wrong.
Because you're delaying things again.
How am I delaying things?
Well, it's... not safe.
Can we just...
Yeah, can we continue to disclose members' personal interest in the item to be discussed?
I would like to, if it's discussed, I will declare a personal interest in the item for 8 The Green.
8 what?
8 is the letters we have in relation to 8 The Green.
It's in there somewhere. It's 7-9. Draft deed.
Is that draft deed?
I think it's that,
Yeah.
Mike, isn't it?
That's the one, I think. Okay. Anybody else? Right, number 3, to identify items which the present public may be excluded. Well, at this stage is nothing. And that's any view for somebody to... No? Right.
Yeah.
To confirm the meetings of the Parish Council held on Monday the 19th of January, you've got 2 sheets. Page 1, any problems? Page 2, any problems?
Yeah, I'll come in again, Chair,
Yep.
please. Right, item 100/14, public consultation on the budget and precept. Resolve that the consultation document as presented by the clerk be accepted for publishing on the website. Can you clarify, is that for publishing on the website in this coming December, or publishing on the website for the budget we've just had?
It's already on anyway.
Right, so the reason I want to clarify the point is, at the last meeting, if you recall, me and you had a, shall we say, tete-a-tete on whether that document was for the consultation we should have had this year, or whether, in your opinion, it was the consultation document for the forthcoming December. So I'd like to just put on record that I was right that I was talking about, and again, you was wrong and causing mischief.
I find that offensive, Stuart.
Well, do what you want with it.
I find that very offensive.
It's the truth.
And another remark like that, and I should close the meeting because I'm going to go home and it will not be quorum.
You're finding every excuse in the book so far, Chair, to close this meeting.
Can we just...
Accept your responsibilities.
I have to say that I'm really unhappy about what's gone off tonight. I think it does the parish council absolutely no good whatsoever. John has turned up, the clerk has turned up, it's not very good weather, members of the public have turned up, and to me it's an insult. We're going to still have some business left over, which is not fair to people who've got stuff on. And I'd just like it recorded that I think it's an absolute disgrace.
And I'll second that.
We're all think this.
Well, you've turned up, John, so
I've turned up.
but we'll go with what we've got and what we can do. Can we move on then?
Right, we'll move on. You can sign those, please.
Yeah.
Right. Minutes of the Finance Committee meeting held on... No,
No, we haven't got that.
Sorry, wrong page. Time date the minutes, right. To consider matters from a previous meeting, as agreed, well, I agreed it with Clive. First two, Clive, do you want to put them together?
Yes, John.
What have you got to say about them?
Chair, if I can. I really don't know where to start on this one because it's been on the agenda since October. The person in question is not here, Councillor Dalton, yet again, so I have no idea what her take on this.
Excuse me, Clive,
is.
can you just read out what the agenda item is?
Yeah, it's to discuss the position of Councillor Dalton as Vice Chairman of the Parish Council following the Council meeting of the 23rd of September. I think actually it was the 24th, was it, Michael? And the decision to ask her to stand down from the post. We've still not had a definitive answer from her as to what she's doing. Do you want to come in, Stephen?
Yes, if my interpretation of the letter's correct, it means that Stuart can resume his post on committees.
Well, to me it means that any decision that this council makes, if it's not unanimous, can be disregarded. So you could say the precept decision could be disregarded, but nobody's going to say that. I mean, if you can't adopt or should I say accept a majority decision, then I think the entire country's democracy is up the creek, to put it bluntly. And anything that we decide as council, or we have done, is not, is null and void as such. I think, to be fair, Councillor Dalton's starting to rewrite the rules of the parish council and how democracy works. And to be fair to the chair, I think if that motion had been taken against him, or probably anybody else on the council who would have accepted it and said, fair enough, I want to query how many voted for or against. It's a majority decision, then you go with that, and I think everybody that's probably in this room will agree with that.
The thing is that she can't change the rules.
No.
Which she apparently is trying to do according to her letter.
Yes.
As far as I'm concerned, she was asked to stand down and she said no.
Yeah.
And until she comes in and gives us an explanation, I can't see what we can do.
It does make it very difficult to have meetings.
Can I come in? Because again, the clerk was asked to write a letter to Councillor Dalton, because as I say, the vote was taken in a democratic way, and I think it was even voted by her own colleagues. One of the colleagues, Councillor Burton, actually said, I'm quite sure Councillor Dalton will step down if asked to do so, and that prompted the resolution. Can I just, the clerk wrote a letter, and can I just read what the reply was? Thank you for your email, which you tell me that on the 24th of September, a resolution was passed asking me to stand down as Vice Chair of the Parish Council in my absence. I understand that the number of members was particularly low on that day, numbering no more than 7. Can you tell me if this was a unanimous decision? If this is not the case, then I feel I must decline to stand down as Vice Chair of Anston. Well, it was a unanimous decision for the people present at the time. Unanimous means it was a majority vote. In publishing my letter where I said I would not attend the full parish council meetings, I was making a public statement about the misbehaviour of a few affecting the business of the council and preventing the democratic process taking place, with other members of the public feeling not able to have their questions heard or answered. I have reconsidered my position in the light of many positive responses from members of the public who say that the minority do not represent their views and that I should stand firm. I continue to serve as a parish councillor and as Vice Chair, but will have no hesitation in closing meetings or evicting troublemakers to protect democracy. Now, I have a serious problem with this letter, because this letter basically shows extreme contempt for members of the public who we represent. First of all, she's questioning the democratic process of a majority vote. She then says, was it a unanimous decision? In other words, if not everybody voted, I'm not playing the game. But at the end, she then goes on to say, evicting troublemakers. She's making sweeping statements that members of the public are bullying her. She's making sweeping statements that these particular members of the public are troublemakers. I find that absolutely appalling. And in a way, I think we should delay this until she comes here to answer questions. Because, in my opinion, making these types of comments against you people sat there, regardless of what political parties or whatever you support, when you have councillors making derogatory remarks about people who we serve, I find that's a position that she should be resigning.
Well, that's the feelings of Clive, that should be put back.
Yeah, I mean,
And at the beginning of the...
I just reiterate what Councillor Thornton said. I think it's not only not listening to the members of the public, but also she's not taking into view... I mean, we had a discussion that night. It was a proper vote. John, the chair, voted that she has to resign. Councillor Burton did. Councillor St John, he abstained. I'm not sure about Councillor Bridges. But we did discuss it, and the letter was sent. And to send a reply like that saying, basically, I don't care what you voted to do, I'm ignoring it, I just think is an affront to the council, to the clerk, to the chair, to everybody else that commits the time and effort to it. And to take that view, I think, is disgraceful. I mean,
make a proposal, Clive, on that?
yeah, what I want to do, if anybody else wants to make one, but I do want to make one proposal. I've been in touch with the Yorkshire Local Councils Association, and what I was going to say was, I've been in touch with the Yorkshire Local Councils Associations, and they said they can't deal with a request from an individual councillor, but they will deal with it from the council, or through the clerk, or the chair. What I would like to do is to send you a copy of or to contact them and ask them for their view on this, because I'm quite sure it's not a very common occurrence where a council refuses to actually give up a position when they're being asked to do so by the council. So I want to propose that we ask the clerk via the chair to ask them for their opinion on it. They've had my correspondence, but it needs it to go through the council, because the council is a member of the YLC, not individual members. But I think we need to get their view on this, so we know what sort of view they take on it in the National Association, so as a guide for both yourself and the clerk.
So
that's a proposal. Yeah.
So the proposal.
Can we...
just.
The item is actually brought forward onto the next agenda
It will be on the next meeting.
to allow
So-
Councillor Dalton to answer it.
So the proposal is that we ask YALC to
In the
clarify
meantime,
the
we ask them,
situation,
yeah.
and that we ask that this particular item be brought forward onto the next council meeting in order for Councillor Dalton to answer our questions.
But I say I would like the clerk,
right?
if everybody's agreeable, to contact them. They said it would take them probably a couple of weeks to come back with an answer, which would be back for the next council meeting when this can be put on the agenda again. Because I think it's too important to let it...
I'll second it.
Yeah.
Can I just ask a quick question before we go to the vote, Chair? This is the article that we're referring to, because this is what started it all off. Can I ask, did you authorise Councillor Dalton to put this article in the newspaper? No, they are comments, because you was contacted by the newspaper. Yeah, right. Can I ask the question is, did you authorise Councillor Dalton to put this in the newspaper before she wrote it to the newspaper?
I discussed it with her. I didn't know what the content was, but she didn't put it as from the parish council, and she put it for himself.
Well, it doesn't matter, because we have a rule here that all press things from parish council, and it's got to be a parish council issue if she's discussed it with you, have to be authorised by the parish council. She hasn't done it, and in the past, whether it was right or wrong, I was censured by you, Chair, for writing things to the newspaper without your authority. I questioned it at the time, so whether that's right or wrong is here nor there. So now we have a situation where she has also wrote a letter to the newspapers about parish council business. She's also spoken to you about it, so it is parish council business. and she didn't have your permission.
Yes,
Therefore,
she said to me, I'm going to resign from being deputy chairman.
right.
And
Which
therefore
she hasn't
I'm
done.
going to- Pardon?
I said, which she hasn't done.
Yeah, but that's what
Right.
she
Oh,
said.
no, yeah.
So you was fully aware about this article then, because this is,
I've got a copy of it.
yeah,
next to
but
me.
what I'm saying, the point I'm making is, this is quite disparaging to members of the public. And I think you should publicly disown this, because if not, the public might see you as part of this scheme to humiliate them, to what she's done.
I'm just, well, I presume the chair gave her permission, but did you not necessarily
I don't
see all the
think-
article?
She said to me,
Gave you the
I'm going
gist
to-
of it.
I'm going to write to the paper and tell them I'm resigning as deputy chair. I said, right, go ahead. And that was it.
So
Well, I
in effect then, she says she's misled you by saying she was going to resign, and she's not done it. So she's misleading the council
Well, I think
and the
perhaps we
chairman.
put that on the next agenda then to discuss
Yeah.
that.
We'll
Yeah, we'll,
propose it in a second.
yeah,
Clive, and Stuart.
shall we take a vote?
Okay. Anybody else want to talk about it?
No, that's
All those in favour?
Item 2, we've done that, haven't we? Item 3,
Do we need-
sorry, I'm taking over from you, John.
So do we need to bring that one as well back to the council?
One and two
Yeah.
together, we've already said.
We'll take them together, so we bring them back as
Look at us.
two. Do you want to go on to the next,
Number 3, Stuart.
number 3?
Clive,
Well, again,
do you want to leave that?
again, because the members that I wanted to ask the question of aren't here, so there's all 5 of them, I think, so there's no point carrying on with that one. Yes, please, yeah.
Right.
Sorry,
May I speak here?
No.
I mean, it appears that these councillors have deliberately kept away from this meeting because
Definitely.
of these items.
Yeah, they've definitely done it.
So,
I mean-
why can't we go ahead with these?
Because
items.
the question that Clive has posed
Yeah.
is to be answered by those people, not by you three, not by me.
But if they know exactly what was going
Well,
on
yeah,
in the meeting,
they're aware of
and they
the
haven't turned
question.
up.
Yeah, so it's
And
got
they've
next
done it,
agenda.
but they seem to have done it en masse.
Oh, they've done it deliberately.
Yeah.
It's deliberately been done,
It seems to be
Gordon.
that way.
Maybe it is. Maybe
but
it is.
it's not
Can't do
a,
something in their absence
it's
because
not
we
a-
want to ask them a question.
it's not a
They're
vote
here.
on that, Mrs
Can I-
Sadler, it's,
It's not a public discussion.
just to clarify it, I need to ask the question of them, they need to be here to answer it, so if they're not here, we can't do it, so we'll defer it to the next meeting, or whenever.
Right, number 4,
Again,
Clive.
yeah, I would have liked more people here to, just let me find a bit of paper,
No,
John.
it's the burial ground,
I know there's nobody here, Councillor Burton's not here, and I think some of it pertains to Councillor Dalton as well. I did have a meeting with him on the 20th of November. There are a couple of items that relate to Mr Hughes, but I would like Councillor Burton to be here as well, because she was at the meeting. I know the clerk was, but I think that's only me as a councillor, so I think it would be, again, we're still needing the answers to the questions on there, but we need to go through it, because I say it involves Councillor Dalton again.
Can I just
Sorry? Stu-
Can I
yeah,
just come and ask a question? Are we referring to this one, Clive, where the work was done by Helping Hands?
Yes, that's
Right.
it, yeah. Well,
Can I-
it's 7th of December, I think it's.
Right. So
Yeah.
basically what happened was we had an outside group working in the cemetery with Councillor Dalton. I personally don't believe she had permission from the council to do it. Can I just ask the clerk through the chair? It says in here that a risk assessment, it was stated that a risk assessment had been carried out by Councillor Dalton. Can I ask the clerk via the chair, did you receive a copy of that risk assessment prior to Councillor Dalton doing any work there? No. Have we had a copy since? Right. So as far as we are concerned, if it's not documented, it's not there. Therefore, we haven't had a risk assessment. Right. Okay. We'll speak about that later.
Right, going to put...
Yes.
Item 1, 2 and 3, and also 4, Clive,
Again,
the
John.
burial ground.
Yeah, because there is an item on the, I think for a grant, isn't there, from the Friends of the Burial. ground are applying for a grant for their insurance, which ties in really for the discussions that we had, with that, and the clerk was at that meeting. I mean, it was so, yeah.
Are we discussing that grant tonight?
No, it's on Wednesdays.
So
Oh,
we're
sorry,
going on,
okay, yeah.
we're going on to 5. What we want to do is to register as
Well-
a community asset the Cubic Park Depot.
Yeah,
which
I still.
is one which is proposed to be gypsy.
Yeah, this relates to the Gypsy and Traveller site down at Cubic Park Station. Dinnington Town Council have done this with a couple of areas of land and buildings at Dinnington to try and get it listed as a community asset. Now I think this is a route that we should go down to try and not force people's hand, but to try and get us a bit more input into that proposed site. And like everybody said before, nobody's against who is intended to use it, but it's just, it seems the wrong place, and it could be better used for the rest of the community.
Right.
Anybody
Clive,
second that?
well, I'll second it. Clive, can you just explain for the public, possibly, that what the asset register is, and why we think we should put it on, and how it affects...
I don't know if Michael's got any input on this, because he's...
Well, I mean, I'll
but
say
it's
it
basically, when there's something that's an asset in the community, so it can be a pub, it can be a post office, and what you do, you register it as a community asset, and that, if that comes up for sale, or someone wants to dispose of it, the community is given notice of it, and they have 6 months, I think it is, to raise any cash. Say if you wanted to take a pub over, a community pub, you're given 6 months in the opportunity to meet the asking price and put an offer in to run it, and the same applies to areas of land. So, as I said, Dinnington have tried to do it on Birkdale Avenue, a plot of land there that's a recreation area. They're still ongoing with the Borough Council, to be fair.
There's a few more hoops from people to jump through before they can get away with it.
And really, if we can progress that, if we could get that registered as an asset to the community, then it would be better for us to try and get something else done with it, and of more value.
Stuart seconded that.
Right, well...
So, I'll have a vote, unless there's an amendment. Right, all those in favour, please show. Right, okay.
Can I just, from Michael's point of view, if you speak to Alistair Evans at Dinnington, Michael, he's done quite a lot of work on the asset transfer applications up there, so he should be able to save you a lot of time and effort with the background information and stuff like that.
Right, move on to number 6, Councillor Jepson again, to discuss the recording of and filming of council meetings by members of the council.
Well, again, that one's more or less gone by the way. It was actually Councillor Burton that was filming at one meeting. When she was sat there, she was filming that area. I think that it's more or less been resolved now. The clerk, I think, has spoken to people about when to stop, when to start, etc. during breaks. But I think we just as long as people are aware of that and councils that they shouldn't be doing it, I think it got a bit out of hand one night and everybody was sort of carrying cameras and camera phones and one thing and another. You've got to be a bit silly, but it's just to make sure people follow the rules.
Yeah, can I just come in this? I mean, quite rightly, councillors should not be filming in these meetings. The idea of the legislation to bring in filming was for the public to hold councillors to account by filming. It was never designed for any of the council or the councillors to film members of the public. We have had occasions where, and I think this mainly started off with Councillor Stonebridge, a member of the public was filming one of the meetings, I think either a morning or afternoon, and Councillor Stonebridge pulled out a camera, placed it on the desk and pointed it at the person filming. That was completely and utterly wrong in my opinion. We're not here to film the public because we've nothing to hide. Well, I find it quite sinister when we're taking pictures of the public with the cameras we've already got. It shouldn't happen, there's no need for it. But I can assure you, in my opinion, before this new legislation came in, there were several councillors around this table that I believe had their phones on the desk and were deliberately recording meetings and what you people were saying before the legislation come in. I have no proof at this point, but that's what was happening.
He's got no proof, it's not worthy.
No, I'm just saying, I'm telling people what's going on.
Councillor Thornton's quite right, because that was the 14th of October meeting, I think, that we closed, where Councillor Stonebridge was sat with his camera, and I think it was Mrs Sadler that was filming it that day, which is one other issue.
Can we, do we need to make some form of proposal to say that councillors shouldn't? Or should we just take it as a given that they don't?
Well, you can if you want, but the thing is that some councillors may feel that if they've been filmed, they've got every right to film other people.
but I
You
don't
can't-
think,
you can't.
I don't think the
legislation,
I don't think the legislation allows that.
The legislation doesn't bar that. The legislation is allowing legislation to allow the public to film. If a member of the council wants to film, I can't see that there's anything legally that stops you doing that. I don't personally think that it should be, but I don't think there's anything you can't.
Well, I believe it is illegal
Can't speak, Colin.
for a councillor to record the meeting. I believe it is illegal for a councillor to record the meeting.
It probably
It's
is.
not illegal for the public to.
Yeah, probably.
Do we,
Probably so.
can the clerk just give us a bit of clarity on that? I know it's a bit of a wide-ranging
Standing orders, isn't it?
subject. I don't think it specifically says that anywhere, but I think it would be not good practice for a...
Shall we just leave it as it is, because we've expressed opinions on it that we don't believe it should happen.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that and address the issue if it occurs
You
again.
can want that message to it that we
It's how you word it, isn't it?
Well, we can minute it as we had a discussion. It was the opinion of those present that councillors should not film members of the public during meetings, and if it occurs at a later date, we will discuss it further.
So you say what you've said at first. We don't approve of it.
Well, that'll do. I'm quite happy. It's no resolution, it's just a comment.
The meeting felt that councillors should not film proceedings.
That'll do.
Okay. Right.
Next one is, sorry, Joe.
That's 6.
Yeah, 7
And then 7
is the same again. I think that's the clerk has
Yeah.
informed members of the public what they should and shouldn't do, and I think they're fairly well aware of.
Have we done that?
There is a document still needs to issue that essentially
Yeah.
the legislation allows us to film during the meeting.
Yeah. Okay, the legislation allows you to film during the meeting, but as soon as the meeting has been closed, you can't film.
Can I just come in shortly and clarify something? Well, I mean, really, there's no need to film when the meetings are finished. But again, I see no reason why people can't film. We've nothing to hide. But can I just clarify a point is, we are filming these meetings ourselves. Now, if we're filming these meetings, as soon as the meeting's finished, do we switch the video cameras off immediately? Because
It's been published once the meeting is finished.
right, does that mean we're editing the films then?
We've got to finish it somewhere. haven't we?
Right. The point I'm trying to make is, I think it's rather unfair that if we're saying to the public, you can't film when the meeting's closed, if we're still filming them while they're hanging around in the hall. That's not fair. It's not an equal on each side. I mean, is there anything, just say for instance a member of the public carries on filming after the meeting, is there anything we do after a meeting that's so bad that we have to stop them filming? I don't know. It just doesn't seem fair
It
to me.
possibly could be, Stuart.
Well, again, it may well be used in evidence, you know, but I think it's unfair that we can carry on filming after a meeting, but we're asking the public not to.
I've already said that as soon as the meeting says we're finished, then that's it. We don't do anything after that.
But we don't switch the cameras off, though, do we? So technically, we're still filming the public.
Okay. Right. So what do you want to do? So what do you want to do?
I don't know, I'm just trying to think the best way through. I mean, like I say, I think it's unfair that the council's filming and telling the public not to. So I don't see why we should have a ban on it. We've nothing to hide after meetings close. So it's up to the discretion of people who's got the camera. Do I have to make a proposal on this?
Can I speak?
Sorry, yeah.
Ultimately, we couldn't enforce it anyway. So, make rules as much as you want, but if you can't enforce it,
You can make a request, Steve. That's what you
you can make a reasonable request. I think it...
I mean, this is why we have a part of the hall that can't be filmed.
Yeah.
Because some people don't want to be filmed. That we put a...
I've no problem.
Steve, but we do put a section at
Yeah.
what side, so
Yeah.
so obviously there must be something in the legislation that tells you you've got to do that.
Yeah, there is.
So, pardon, yeah, let's move then. Yeah, let's move.
Practicing to be ventriloquist.
Yes, is a ventriloquist.
Of a ventriculist.
Shall we?
Yeah, that's the duty to protect.
Would you like to know why I
Yeah,
don't
we have a duty to, what do you call it? Apparently we have a
You can
duty
say
to
to Ed.
protect the vulnerable.
You can continue.
That's what it says.
Oh, sorry.
You can ask it in the 10
Can we
minutes.
just say that again? Can we just say, without making a proposal, can we say we've discussed this issue and opinions divided on whether the council should be filming when the public are not allowed to, and we will just, again, we've discussed the issue and we'll leave it to a later date if a problem occurs.
Anybody want to second that? That is on the
Yeah,
on the minutes.
I'm trying to find a way through it, that's what I can come up with a
Anybody?
proposal.
Can I just say, if Mrs Stadler wants to make a point, she can make it at the end of the meeting, because there is a 10-minute session on what's gone off earlier on, so it gives you the opportunity.
Yeah, wait. Right, move on to number 7. To receive communication received by Parish Council, no resolution may be moved unless the communication is listed below. Number 1, to receive a letter of thanks from Southampton Methodist Church. That was for the money for the programme, the concert. Can I receive it?
Yeah.
To receive a letter of thanks from the Adult Learning Difficulties Club. Can I receive that?
Receive that.
Is this excuse me, is this a letter or asking for a grant?
No, this is a letter thanking us for that.
Alright, okay, yeah, so my apologies, I didn't read it right, yeah.
A letter of thanks from Dinnington and District Horticultural, that's again saying thank you. A letter of thanks from Well Singers, yes, that is. To receive a circular from the Open Spaces Society. That's it.
Have we?
Are they asking us for a donation here?
We never donate.
We never donate.
I'm just trying to...
We can donate individually.
Yeah. We said that last time. If individual members want to donate, fair enough. But the parish council wouldn't. To agree to carry on with the same procedure?
I'm just reading through I've read it before.
Well, they make a lot of, I mean, they do a lot of campaigning on, should we say, open spacing. It's 150 years and still fighting. I don't think traditionally we donate, do we?
We pay the annual fee to them, by the way.
Oh,
Obviously
right,
we do.
in that case, well, if we pay an annual
But
fee,
we don't give them an extra.
right.
So
Well,
I'd be quite happy
I
to
propose we
continue.
just accept this then.
To receive email thanks for Anston History Group, yes. To receive a letter of thanks from Age UK. And to receive a letter of thanks from Anston Friendship Club. That's the Thursday afternoon one where they're doing with tea in the bun and...
Can I just ask a question of this? It's just a letter of thanks, but the lady writing it says, the evening was very special to me when I received the Community Award.
Yes, she was awarded the Community Award. She started the Friendship Club 10 years ago, and it happens every week, and they take anybody who wants to go down, and it's usually between 40 and 45, usually pensioners,
Yeah.
and they feed them, and they play bingo, and they play cards, or whatever,
Yeah.
to give them...
Gamble.
Those
Yeah.
people are alone.
And I should imagine they do a very, very good job. Well, the question I was going to ask was, it says, this particular says, I received the Community Award.
Yes, she got the Community Award.
Who awards who decides who gets a Community Award?
I did. The chairman did that.
So I thought the council had to work on a collective decision.
Mrs Cawthorne has done
Oh,
more in the committee than just 10 years running that.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
been involved for the last
I have no doubt
20
it's,
and
I have no
30
doubt
years.
it's, I have no doubt it's well deserved, but I'm just asking the question,
No, no, that's
why is the council not making the awards? Why is it just in one individual? Anyway, I've no doubt it's well deserved.
Yeah. The thing is that if we all sat around the table, we could each come up with a couple of people, and it's all the different, it'd take another month to find.
It's called democracy.
Yeah. To receive a letter from RMBC regarding the school keep clear...
Draft
Oh, sorry,
deed.
the draft deed first. That's 7-9.
Can I just make a comment on this, Chair? I've got the earlier correspondence that Michael sent out to one of the other meetings, and I have to, well, I know it's Foy's that we're using, but the guy that I'm sure they get the names from leftover Scrabble letters, some of these, and the he sent one particular email on 19th of December, which although I mean we're paying him for a professional service, but it really hurt me this, because he's put, observant readers of the letter may discern that I am somewhat irritated by the whole affair. I can't understand why he's put that comment in, because we're paying for his good money, and I don't think it's in the pack. It's one that it was done earlier.
I think it's
There were
referring...
some earlier letters, correspondence on this, so we've obviously moved on.
I think it was referring to the lack of communication from the other side
he sent
solicitors.
another one on the 19th, which says, further, with the greatest respect to you, it is not our job to spell out to you what should be in your client's statutory declaration. Well, I think he could perhaps counted some of the emails in a bit more amenable terms than that, because if one's solicitors start falling out amongst each other, then you get in a bad state. It was just the tone of some of the phrases that were used that I didn't particularly sort of like make me think of him in a that good a light. But at least if he's doing the job. But it was just, as I say, it were just those that were preamble to this last one, and his tone picks up. Happy New Year to you. New Year to you. I hope you had a good Christmas. So he's obviously feeling a bit more amenable.
Can I just come in on this? Right. Right, can I come on this? First of all, I've declared an interest because in this letter it refers to number 8, the Green, and number 10, and I'm a friend of person who's at number 10, so that's why I've declared an interest. Can I just say, first off, to accept a deed, this is not a deed. It says at the top, statutory declaration. This is not a deed document. This is a document that's not being signed by the residents who appear to be putting forward an argument why they have a right of way. Now, so it's not a deed document, it's just a statement. So can I just go down some of this, because I believe some of these, well, the first thing is they refer to a plan. Where's the plan? Apparently there's lines drawn on this plan, but we haven't got a plan. So we don't know where the lines are. Right, so where's the lines that they're referring to in this declaration? So we haven't got the plan for starters, so we can't make any decisions. Can I just go down this? This is a declaration. It's not a deed document by any means. But they refer to the judgment that was made on number 10, the Green, and they refer to specific lines. And I'm going to query this. I mean, I don't think they're going the right way about this, because the first thing is, as a parish council, the village green is vested in us, or I can't remember the correct term, but basically we are vested to look after the village green. So I'm looking at the clerk through the chair for an answer. Do we have, as a council, do we have a legal right to grant easements over a village green? We don't have that right. Right, so this is my opinion. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but this is my opinion. If that number 10 was granted a right of access by law in a court,
probably being contradictory. It wasn't granted the right of access. It was accepted that the right of access existed.
For number 10. Right, that's for number 10. So, right, so just for that, but just because that was done, I've lost my thought of train now. Right, so in the court of law, it was decided there was a right of access for number 10. If we haven't got a power, as it stands at the moment, there is no access to this premises. So if we were to go ahead and sign a deed document, and it's just been said we don't have a right to do it, if we haven't got a right to grant an easement, because that's what it would be, it'd be an easement, if we haven't got the right to grant an easement, we can't do it. I don't know what the solution is from the residents of number 8, but legally we cannot grant an easement. That's what you're telling me.
The deed does not grant an easement. The deed acknowledges that the proof of burden shows that the right of access exists. That's all you're doing. You're accepting their proof.
Right, well I'm going to question that, because I don't believe their proof actually complies. I mean, I have read the judgment, it's on the internet for people to look at. That's where I looked it up. In item number 7 it says, this is a statement by I'm trying to be a bit careful, but by the person we're discussing. It says, to the best of my knowledge and belief, the previous owner of the property enjoyed the same rights of access by vehicle and on foot enjoyed by myself. Well, I've looked up at the judgment, and I think the person is referring to as Mr. Savant, who was there previously. Now, in that judgment, it doesn't say that Mr. Savant has any access in law over that land. Well, it does say he used it, but it doesn't say he had a right of access or right of way through land. So, item 7 is saying they have a right of way, and I'm saying I don't believe they have, because he didn't have the right of way. You go on to item... No, I'm trying to... Listen, we need to discuss this, because these are quite serious documents.
Part of the discussion. He's only saying, to my knowledge and belief, he's not saying...
Right, yes.
Not
right.
to knowledge and belief.
And to my knowledge and belief, then, to counteract that, to my knowledge and belief, Mr. Savant, the previous occupier, never had a right of way across that green in law. So I'm querying that item 7. The next one is, number 9, the judgment is in the form of a declaration. The judgment being the one for number 10, to the effect that the parish council had to recognise an existing right of way by foot and vehicle along the south side of the green in front of the houses, as stated by the judge. The judgment found this right to have existed for over 20 years after 1934 and any event prior to the designation of the village green. The judgment was only for number 10. And again, I've read the judgment on the web page. The judgment was for number 10, not for number 8. But what this document is doing, it's trying to say because number 10 got a right of way, well, therefore we at number 8 get a right of way. And I think that's wrong. They haven't proved that they have a right of way or right of access across that green.
Can I just make a comment on this, John? I feel a bit uncomfortable on this one, given that there are 5 of us here, and this is a legal document. And I think if we're going to vote on something like this that has legal implications, which I presume it does, then there should be more of us here than are to take part in it. I don't know if anybody else feels. I mean, is there a rush to get this approved, Michael, or so there's no sort of urgent need to get it sorted out?
See, can I just come back in again? We've got this document in front of us, and it quite clearly states across the front it's a draft document. Therefore, it's not a finished document. We're going to be asked tonight to vote whether to accept this. Well, it's not even been signed. So what we're being asked to do is we're being asked to accept a document that, in my opinion, is wrong. But we've been asked to accept a document that's not been signed as a statutory declaration. We can't make any decisions on any document until the people who should sign it are signed. And then once this statutory declaration to say that they think they have a right to way, it should come back here and be discussed. And then there should be a deed document drawn up if we have a right to grant an easement, and we don't. And then we should have a look at a document. I think we're going about this the wrong way, to be honest.
Well, I'd propose that we defer this to the council meeting on the, tell me when it is, 16th, 18th, pick a day, well, whenever, fortnight today is the easiest way to do it. And we defer it back to that when hopefully there'll be more bodies here. Cause, as I say,
I'll second it, because I think we need to do a bit more work on this, because we can't be expected to vote on a document that's not been signed. And I think what this document is doing is asking us, really, to say, approve this document that says they've proved they have a right of way. But even if they have a right of way, we can't grant them an easement in law. We're not allowed to do it by law, and I think we need to do a lot more work on this one before we do it.
They're not asking us to give them an easement, are they?
No, they're asking, what they're saying to us, they've given us this document to prove that they have a right of way across the green. Now, I, for one, I've nothing against the people at all, because if they have a right of way, they should be given it. But I don't believe this document is factually true in some parts, but also I don't believe it sets out a prescribed reason for giving them one. But even if they turn around and say, we have a right of way, if we haven't got any powers to say you can use it, we can't grant it. It's the law. If we haven't got the power in law to grant them... See, am I making sense? I'm looking at this...
Yeah.
Because I know I'm rambling on a bit. Now again, I'm not trying to stop this happening. I'm just trying to stop what's been happening lately, the councillors, stop us from coming back to this issue in 10 years' time and having to go rejig it all and spend more money.
Well,
We've already
that's why I think it should be
Yeah.
The thing
deferred.
is, they're saying that the judgment for number 10 sets a precedent. That's all.
Well, that's what they're saying, but I don't believe it's true.
Well, that's
if you
what
look-
they're saying.
Can I come in and listen? If you look at the last substantive paragraph, and it says which logically must also benefit our client's property. Well, if everything followed logic, we won't need solicitors in the first place.
Right.
It's a good point, that's the...
Right, it's point of law, not point of logic. It's
So we'll leave this till next
totally
meeting.
different thing.
All those in favour of leaving it till next meeting?
Needs to do a bit more work on it.
May I, receiving letters, we haven't received a letter from Dennington District Horticultural Society.
It's been sent by email, we don't put them in usually.
Oh, is it sent by email?
It's sent by email.
We've
Oh.
got it down.
Sorry?
It's down.
Yeah, we did, but we did it rather quickly, didn't we?
Yeah, item 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went rather quickly over it, Gordon.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
Because they're all thank yous.
yeah.
To receive a letter from RMBC regarding the school keep clear markings on Edinburgh Drive. Right.
Have they not already done this?
yeah, well, I think it's more been done and dusted. It's only a sort of confirmatory letter. I think that it's all been agreed. It's just...
It's shifted it along the road.
Yeah, they've moved it further along after complaints from some of the residents on the other side. I think it's just to keep us in the loop, basically.
We propose that
Tell
we
us
just
where we
receive
are.
that.
Received.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one, number 11, sorry. To discuss a request to give presentation on the proposed planning application for the worship hall. Now, if you remember, originally this first one, it was quite a big application, which was on the piece of land from Common Lane and across the top. So now it's been cut down to just the bit where the old site was that held the concrete and stuff, behind Thornbury.
You know more than I do
We've not seen
What?
it yet, nobody's seen it.
about that. Nobody's seen it. Can I just...
How do you know all about this and we don't?
I've been told about this one
Who by?
by the people who are putting forward the thing.
Right.
I'm just trying to explain to you. I mean, if you ignore it, you don't.
Well,
No, it's interesting that you've had discussions and we haven't.
Can I just make a few points on this? I want to put a proposal forward that we've done this twice before. We've had a request to do a presentation. We've dismissed it twice. We've said that, and I'll quote, this is 2011, discussion be deferred until after the planning application has been submitted. No planning application has been submitted as yet. In fact, I've been in touch with the planning manager, who has said we've not spoken to them re the proposed gospel hall, and our stance when previously approached was that we would not be supportive of the proposal in the green belt. So there's nothing on the table. There's no application.
No. The reason it's on, Stuart, if you like to, why I know about it is because the people said to me, what shall I do? What's the next step? And I said, contact the clerk and get it put on the agenda, and that's why it's on.
Can I just make... Sorry,
No,
Chief, I'll just carry
I've
on.
got a problem with
I'm also... It's actually been put on the agenda by the senior administrator. We've not actually had an official letter from DLP consultants asking for that, which we did before.
Yeah.
But we've, as I say, we've consistently said that until the live planning application goes in, then it will be discussed when we, as we normally do, planning applications, and anybody who is supporting the application, much like last time, we were given the opportunity at that meeting to discuss it and put their points forward, and I see no difference to that. In fact, I've got a point here from Councillor Beck, when he was chairman of the parish council, if I can just find it. It says, he was asked a question by Councillor Thornton, and one of the responses was, Councillor Beck also advised the brethren that the presentation of their plans to the council was not in order. So that was Councillor Beck's view as chairman in 2012, and I think we should we need to stick with what we've done before.
Well, the way I saw it was that they asked me, and I said, well, if you ask council if you could talk to them, that you can pick up something, you might change the plans.
I think the problem with planning applications, if you do it that way, when you discuss it as a live plan application, you don't go in with an open mind, which is what you supposed to do because you've seen it before, so you've actually got a closed mind on it, and that's not the way it should work.
Tell them to put forward the plans.
Well, once a live planning application has gone in, it'll come in on the list and it'll be discussed as normal. at one of the meetings, and they've got the opportunity then to put
Can
their...
I just come in? I mean, I
Yeah.
think you're basically saying roughly what I was going to say. I was trying to have a conversation, two members of the public with the meeting started and cut me short. My personal thinking on this is, the last planning application was quite contentious from several different parties, and there was also, and I'm trying to choose my words carefully, there was some contention of which councillors knew what or didn't know at the time, and there was some issues revolving
Never
around
answered.
whether it was right or wrong for councillors to know certain information prior to the application. My thinking on this is, as a council, it would probably be better for openness and democracy not to have a briefing until the planning application's gone in. Once the planning application's gone in, then I've no objection to, I think it's the consultants come in and giving the council a full
Do you agree with
briefing
that?
of what their intentions are. But I would also like to see at that meeting, for it to be a public meeting where members of the public can also attend and get the information at the same time. Sometimes it's a good thing or a bad thing for consultations with the public in certain circumstances, but the more open we are on these type of issues, and it is, I'm assuming it's the church that's going to be built, on this type of issue, it is quite contentious, and the more open and trying to engage with the public from all parties is the best possible way to do it. So, are you going to make a proposal?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want
I
to...
can't possibly see what's contentious about wanting to
Well,
build
we-
a Christian church.
Well, we don't...
No,
we don't know, do we? I mean...
Well,
that's why I want to go in with an open mind to whatever...
That's your personal
submitted,
view.
John.
That's your personal view. There's people of other denominations and religions. That's why it's all right you saying there's nothing wrong with a Christian church, but you may have other people in the village who may object to it. It has to go through a proper democratic planning process. We all have different views.
Can I say, whenever that application goes in, when it comes in front of us as a planning application, I want to look at it just that, not something that's trying to sway me either way beforehand. And I think we just go along. The last time we did it was in 16th of July, I think, minutes, and it said, resolve that the council considers the merits of the planning application when it is next submitted for approval, which will be when it comes in as a live planning application. But if the Borough Council don't support it because it's on Greenbelt land, then we take it from there. But as I say, I'm quite happy to wait until it goes in as a proper planning application, like everybody else's does. We don't get notification of any others.
So do we need an actual decision on this? Can we just say that we've discussed the issue and it was the views of the council that any request for a consultation come back after the planning application?
That's not...
Is that not what we're saying?
That's not what I want to propose.
Right,
no.
go on then, put a proposal forward.
Well, that the council considers the merits of the planning application when it is next submitted for approval, or you've got another version, which is
Discussion be deferred until after
planning application has been submitted. That's what we've said twice before, Michael.
That's the proposal?
Yeah.
That's all right. It sounds all right to me. I think it was going the way I was speaking. Yeah.
Right, seconded. All those in favour?
I can see a lot more on this coming actually.
To discuss Rotherham
Growth plan.
growth plan.
Can I
Clive,
just start on this one? Yeah, unfortunately, Runforty Councillor Beck's not here because this is his province, and with his position in the council, he wouldn't have been able to stop in on the discussion anyway, because it would be prejudicial, because he's heavily involved in this. I read through it again last week. I think the consultation closed on the 30th, but I think he said he would speak to people in the section that deal with it to give us a chance to discuss it tonight. We're down to 5 of us, so we need to make some sort of comments tonight, because we're not going to have any longer than this. My main contention of this is the industrial development at Todwick North. I think we've all said before that everybody wants jobs and employment in this area, but I just think that is the wrong place altogether. I think it's...
Any plans to do it out?
No, it's just a area of site, Greenbelt land,
Unless you've got any plans.
which is a bit awkward, because when The Borough Council are wanting to build on Greenbelt, which is fine, but when other people maybe come to build it on Greenbelt, then it's a different ballgame. I don't know if anybody noticed a comment in the Advertiser last week whereby Bassett Law had lodged a proposal with Borough Council out of courtesy about industrial and housing development at Gateford, and the Borough Council had objected to it because it will impact on the traffic at Southampton, and this, I'm just trying to think what they said that they had some until they'd carried out improvements to Wrighton Road crossroads at Southampton, then they wouldn't support the application, which is a bit rich because that'd be like when whatever freezes over, because there's no plans to do anything on the A57, which is a tragedy. But the ironic thing is they wanted to build this at Todwick, just down the road, which is again is going to cause as much impact on Southampton and the traffic flow there as the one at Bassett Law is. So if they're going to build that there and they're objecting to that, they really should be doing something about the traffic flow and pedestrian safety across the A57 at Southampton, because it's an absolute disaster at the moment there.
Can I just say, I've actually, I don't know if I've told you now, I've written Andrew West asking for him to be more specific of what the improvements should be at Southampton Crossroads, if that's what they're actually referring to. But I've had no reply yet. Sorry, just I'm trying to clarify. Is this plan? It's not a planning document, but
it's on the LDP.
What I'm trying to get around is, if it was a planning application to say they're going to build a site there, we could object to it.
Yeah.
But it's not. What type of document is it? Is it proposed? Is it going to go through?
It's just a consultation. It outlines where their areas of growth for employment and industry are. And one of the comments Dinnington Town Council made was that they want to see the areas in Dinnington filled up first, where there's spare capacity. And likewise, Todwick Council have lodged the same objections, that they don't want to see that area of Greenbelt concreted or tarmacked over.
So could we make a proposal that, as a council, because we are quorate, that we, as a council, we object to the proposed industrial site at Todwick on the grounds that we don't think it's necessary. I'm just trying to think some proper grounds. What grounds could we do it on?
I think it's
what
and can we also copy in the letter to Dinnington, Todwick,
it's really those three councils.
I think others that could affect. Maybe Harthill, copy them all into our objection, because I think, although it's in Todwick Parish Council, it does affect all of us, because we could end up with an industrial, well, again, the other problem I've got is they keep mentioning at RMBC that this is some form of extension to the advanced manufacturing park at Catcliffe, but if you actually read the document, it's quite clear that they want it to be a logistic depot for vehicles and stores. And if it's going to be the size of something like the Wilkinson project, you could end up with 700 wagons in Todwick moving in and out, and another 700 or 800 at the Fox Covert at Shire Oaks, exactly the same. So it could have a massive impact on the traffic through Southampton. So
I mean, I agree with what they said at Dinnington Town Council, that nobody objects to jobs, employment and everything for Rotherham and this area as a whole, but I think my objection is that they're picking the wrong place. There's a lot of spare capacity in Dinnington, and I don't think that's the right area. They just spent £100,000 on a footpath from the roundabout towards Dinnington, and I've been down there a few times and I've yet to see anybody walking on it, and that money was ring fenced for that area. If they've spent £100,000 on that, if this goes ahead, they're going to dig all that footpath up again to form access route there. It's either going to come onto the A57 past the Red Lion or onto Todwick Road. There's no other routes to put it. So you could well have spent £200,000 on a pointless exercise at the end of the day if it's all dug up to make access for that. So
we made an objection to building 9 houses with an access opposite Stars Old Garage.
So we've got a proposal, he said.
So I propose that, as I say, while the council's supports jobs and employment in the area, they think that the proposal for the Todwick North site is inappropriate given the pressures that it will put on Southampton, Todwick and traffic in the surrounding areas, and that there are other sites that should be looked at first.
Where some roads have been laid in.
Would it be, I won't say advantageous, that's probably the wrong word, would it not be a good idea possibly to have a meeting with the other surrounding councils with a view to agreeing what we would like to see or not see there, and then possibly have a meeting with the cabinet member who
I would
to put
like
the
to
views.
see, I'd like to see the planners and the, I think it's, I'm not sure the section of Borough Council is Rido, I think, or Rido, that do with development and employment, because nobody's bothered to explain to either us, Dinnington or Todwick, what it will actually involve. It's just a blocked area of land that's going to disappear and be turned into something else. And until, you know, I'd like a bit more information, so and some involvement in as it progresses, because I don't think we're going to get that. It's just going to be a fait accompli, and it's going to go through.
Do you know whether Todwick Parish Council discussed it yet?
I'm not sure that the growth plan, or I know they've objected to the site under the LDP, because there are a lot of Todwick Council, well, Todwick Parish Council and a lot of residents, plus some at Northampton objected to it. But whether they've discussed the growth plan, I have no idea, because I've not seen, unless you go on their website, you'll be able to see the minutes. But I presume they would have. So, as I said, that's what I'd like to propose. That
Could read the
Anybody?
proposal, then I'll...
I'm just trying to remember. You want to read it, Michael?
Job creation, but objects to the proposed industrial site at Todwick North on traffic grounds. And copy of Todwick things and ways.
Do you want to?
And
Enlarge
spare capacity at the other industrial sites.
Yeah, that is.
Spare capacity at the
It's
Dinnington
still
industrial
first
areas.
before they contemplate that.
Yeah.
I think, unfortunately, it's been done on the back of the A57 improvement. It's seen as an easy route out, but I think it's going to make things.
I believe
far
this
worse.
was I believe this document was quite advanced before the LDF came out. I'll second that motion.
Do you want to vote on that, John?
I mean, to me, yeah, all those in favour of that. Just a passing comment, to me these plans are all very well, but the last one designated Kirkby's both sides of the road as housing development, and I'm sure that they've got no want to do that on their business.
Blackstones are not going to. They're going from strength to strength. Blackstones, they're not going to.
And yet
Get rid of
somebody
that.
in their wisdom has looked at the plan and said, oh, there's a bit of land here, we'll have that.
The problem is they don't own the site, John.
Yeah, but I mean,
So site owners could have put it
yeah.
in.
I mean, I'd love for somebody to come up with a scheme for Southampton Crossroads and all that area there and say, yes, we're going to do that. But if they're putting that as a, you know, until they get that done, they're going to object to Bassett Law. Bassett Law will not back down on that. They'll do what they think is right for them. So, in fact, somebody 5 mile away says it's going to affect our road.
Slightly. You look at Bassett Law, you look at that big white elephant on to industrial estate there.
Turbine.
Yeah, there's a massive warehouse that's not even...
It's empty now. It's shut down, I think.
Since it was being built. They're building another one next door to it.
I think there's one actually closing on there. Not being killed. There's another one there, I think, that's...
Right, so can we have
It's shut
progress
in,
then, shall we vote on
yeah.
that? Move to the following items available to members on request. Village Watch, issue 221, Safe at Last, Winter 214, Local Councils Update, 179 and 80, Chesterfield Canal Trust, the Cuckoo Winter 214, and Rural Action Yorkshire Country Air issue. They're all available.
Can I just say that the Village Watch is quite a good and interesting read if anybody wants to have a look at it. It's quite informative. I think they do a good job at Southampton, but you haven't got one at Northampton. And
Right, over to
volunteers.
rate. Councillor Jarvis, to discuss CSE and Rotherham councillors.
Yes, well, as with Councillor Jepson's things, I would like this to be put on earlier at the next meeting, as there are people that aren't here.
Is there a proposal?
It's a disgusting example of filibustering, this.
Is that a proposal?
Yes, please.
And I'll second it.
Then
Yeah.
put that item at the end of item 6. If it's still item 6. But number 2, to consider and approve additional microphones.
Can I've looked at the price. I'm not in favour at this moment in time of going down this route, because I don't think we've got nearly £1,000 to spare before the end of the financial year. I'd like to, I mean, I don't know what anybody else feels on this. Is it urgently necessary? Because I think basically we should have a moratorium on non-essential spending till the end of March, to give us a fighting chance next year. And I don't think it's a priority. I know it's something that we'd like to do, but I think after going around a lot of the parish councils and speaking to people at various meetings, I think we've done far more than any other parish council has already even going to attempt to do in relation to recording of meetings and things like that. I think we've gone far. But I think in fact we were probably in front of the Borough Council at one point, and they've still not got theirs sorted out yet. So I think we've probably gone as far as we can at this moment in time. We have a look at it in the next financial year.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in agreement with Clive, and I'm really torn on this one because we do have a problem. We've only got 5 microphones between 15 councillors, and they are members of the public.
Not tonight.
Well, we're lucky tonight. We've got one each. But I mean,
we've got one each.
But they are members of the public who, you know, some of them are hard of hearing, and again, we're here to discuss things, and they're here to listen to us, to, should we say, hold us to account. And if they can't hear what we're saying, well, what's the point of us being here? So I do believe in an ideal world, we should have 1 microphone per person. When I look at the document we've got, when they're quoting, was it £300 for a microphone? I find that quite extortionate. It might be right, it might be wrong, but I'm quite sure we could probably look at getting different types of microphones cheaper than that on the internet. I mean, when they're asking for 2 microphones and a microphone that hangs down from the ceiling above the public, when they're quoting £1,000, it doesn't sit right with me in the cost of that. So I'll go with what you're saying, Clive. We'll defer it until the next financial year, and it will give us some time to possibly have a look at some more alternatives. Can I just ask Michael, through the chair, do we have to have a special type of microphone for the system we've got?
I assume so.
Right. I know it's a technical question. Yeah. I can't see why they cost £300 a piece. I mean, the option 1 is, in my calculations, and it's an approximate one because I'm not brilliant at maths. Option 1 would be 1,250, and option 2 would be 974. So either way, we're looking at £1,000. I don't know. I'm torn both ways, but I think best to probably leave it.
I mean, I can just give you one example. I know for a fact, putting it into their meetings, they're all doing the lyric, and you would have thought that it being a theatre, that it would have the best acoustics and microphones that money could back, but it hasn't. It's absolutely hopeless for meetings, and they're looking at putting a system in there. I think there was around about £4,000 to try and ensure that members of the public could hear what was going off. But I think they've even deferred that because they can't afford that next year. And I think we should be prudent ourselves and have a look at what we do. Because at the moment, I don't think we're that badly done to be fair.
Can I just ask another technical question? I'm testing the cracker. These are wireless microphones. Where do they go to? We have a special box or something somewhere.
Yeah, there's loads of areas.
Right. I know the cameras are doing so. I'm just trying to think of an alternative. We could look at cheaper microphones, possibly on the internet. But again, would they be compatible with a box? That's something we have to look at, isn't it? I can't get over the fact. I mean, I'm quite stunned that these are £300.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the clerk has put all the figures together, so we know what we're looking at in one respect. We can work from that, can't we? We also need something to look at as a starting point.
It's very difficult, in fact, getting prices, because I had a problem with the closing mechanism on dishwashers, and I got in touch with the firm, and they quoted me £65 if a man had come and he'd put it right for me. So I then got to the Spurs, the park department, and they quoted me for the park £22. Then I went down to the shop in Dinnington, next door to Nottingham Building Society, H&M I think they call them, and it looked up on his computer, I got the part and they got it for £7.20. And that's how stupid you can get. Exactly the same thing, all it was 2 screws, there wasn't even any wire in it, just plugged in, 2 screws, worked.
Well, I think companies try to take advantage of council.
Yes, they do.
They really do.
Well, they'll not be able to do it in future, because we shall have even less money.
I've
in
got a
the-
proposal, I'm going to second it.
Have we had a proposal to
Yeah, it's proposed that you second it.
I'll
so-
second it.
Right,
I'm going to look into it a bit more, I think.
Right, next thing, to consider and approve an insert to the next newsletter regarding the May elections. You've got it there, most of this stuff's been taken from
This is what we did it before. isn't it?
YLA, what they recommend, and
So we are going to put
still,
2015 as
Yes,
opposed to
Well,
2011.
Steve's just alluded to it, the document we've got
yeah.
is plastered 2011 all over it. And
Yeah,
the,
well,
and the dates are
that's-
all
that's
wrong.
what we
Right.
got to say.
That's the, right, the first thing is, I think that,
It's because this is when it was last put in.
I understand
In
that,
the
I understand that.
newsletter.
It was just making sure that it's not printed like,
No.
right, the first thing is, I'm all for publicising that there's an election coming up, because I would like to see a fully independent parish council to take party politics out of it. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Could I ask a question? How much, and again I'm looking at the clerk, how much is this insert going to cost us over and above the normal parish magazine?
About 350.
So it's costing 150 on top of what we already pay for. Right, could I make a suggestion? And what we do is, we put a piece in the normal newsletter, that a short version, a very short version, saying there's elections coming up, etc., and people that are interested, and direct them to the website where these pages will be. They're quite, it's quite a long-winded document, really.
Can I make it? I think that's a reasonable idea, because I mean, from Michael's point of view, what you can do is just put a small piece in saying the parish elections are due to be held in May, blah blah blah. If you want to find out more information on this, look on the website, and I think that's the easiest way to do it, because
Take your mag.
That's
Yeah, I've written
if it
it
saves
down.
us £350, we spend it on something
that
else.
sometimes excludes older people, though, doesn't it? Because they're not
It
conversant
does,
with me,
but I mean,
including me.
yeah. But
Yeah,
you
well,
know,
I wrote this in this edition of your mag, and I've made it very simple. I've just said, parish council elections are coming up. Please put yourself forward if you wish. I've put a little bit into what your duties would be, and it doesn't mean political at all, but just say, if you want more information, contact the clerk or contact any councillor who will get it.
They should be really contacting the returning of Mags
well,
Evers.
can I say on that one, if you put in the thing about look at the website for information, but you can also put in the note, if you're interested, you contact the elections office in Rotherham, Democratic Service or whatever it is, and give them their email or telephone number. And then if you really want to pursue it, they're the people who deal with it anyway, not us.
Well, anyway,
Can I-
I put it in your mag, it's to try and get people interested and trying to get them to come forward.
Can I speak? I assume we're doing this as it's something to do with quality status, is it? Do we have to promote democracy?
It was for the previous,
But it's changed, hasn't it?
we
Okay.
don't know new one, is there?
So we're not obliged to promote democracy with these new criteria. We don't know.
But it's good practice. isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's good practice, but I agree that a condensed version steering people towards
But one needs to be condensed, so we can just put that lot on the website.
put this on the web, but a condensed little piece saying about the elections, steering people towards the internet or RMBC electoral services. As Gordon rightly says, some of the older generation aren't conversant with the
That's
internet,
right.
but at least if they've got an address
Telephone,
that they
yeah.
can
I've
contact
condensed it
RMBC.
down to 1/4 size
Yeah.
page, it's
Can-
in your mag.
Can I just come in? What we could do is, when we put it in the newsletter and guiding them to the website, we can also put a rider in there to say that people who haven't a computer and wish they can have a hard copy from the clerk, and that way people who haven't got
Well, we cover every base then, don't
people who haven't got internet can have a hard
Yeah.
copy. I mean,
But-
I would imagine there wouldn't be that many people doing it, so it's not going to be a great
we? They
cost.
really need to speak to the elections office, because we don't want to be giving them wrong advice about the various
Yeah.
legal bits that they have to do, and they
Well,
get it
what
wrong.
about then?
So
I can just
There's
say-
been some new rule
I can just
changes as
ask
well.
you,
so.
In principle, do you agree that we should ask people to put themselves forward for election?
well, I mean, I think you just said that the elections are due to be held, and if
Yeah.
people are interested, they'll follow it up. If they're not,
Yeah, that's what I've
they'll
already
bin
done
it.
it, so, in that magazine, but this
But
is-
I don't think we need to steer 'em. I think we just need to flag up that they will be held in May, all being well, and
Yeah.
if anybody's interested, contact the elections office.
Can I-
Sorry, Councillor Stewart, I'm just going to say, it's ironic reading through that given how many of us here tonight, it says, what does a councillor do? It says, most people's impression of what a councillor does is that they just attend council meetings, but nothing could be further from the truth. Well, that's correct. And over the page it says, a councillor agrees to attend all meetings, or as reasonably possible, what that she or he is summoned to in Anston, along with full monthly council meetings. There are committee meetings and working groups, but obviously that's falling on deaf ears at the moment.
Can I just come in I think there's one or two things that need to be looked at here, and again, I'm looking at...
From the...
Right, the reason I think is on the item, I don't know which page it is, gets to item 3, completing the nomination forms, and it tells you there how to fill in with the electoral register. Well, there's actually been rule changes, and the rule changes are that if you stand in one ward, and it's not the ward you live in, you have to have nominations from the people whose ward you're standing in. I'm just wondering whether that needs to be changed, because it doesn't state that in there, and it's quite complicated.
Well, that's good.
Number 3, I don't know what page it is.
Mark, you were at that meeting with Mags Evans, weren't you? At that. I wonder if we could ask her for maybe just an update that we can put, because some of this can be chopped out, can't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
See,
And- yeah.
Which is possibly different to this.
Yeah.
So this is just an example of...
Yeah.
I think can we ask? I think we agreed that to put it on the website,
Yeah.
just to do a small bit in the newsletter. Forget that. And if it's going to save us £350,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, the only reason
might
we
need-
put it on here was to make you aware.
Yes.
of the fact
No,
that
that's
we're
that's
You see,
fair
the-
comment.
So there's another thing that on the reverse of that page, it goes down and says what can they do? Halfway down the page it says local councils do not receive council tax directly from the public, but are primarily funded at present from a small percentage of council tax. Well, it's a bit of a misleading statement, because we do receive money directly from the public. It's just that it's collected with the council tax.
I think it is. It has moved on since.
Yeah,
that
there's one or two things
2011.
need updating on it.
So if, I mean, I'll propose that we don't send this out. We get a version on the website. We put
Says
a
here,
small
so-
insert in the newsletter saying when the elections are due to be held. Give people the Rotherham Borough Council elections team's email address or telephone number.
Says here, local council budgets are a tiny part of the whole council tax. Well, I don't think so, not on this council.
But I think a lot of that can be got rid of, because since in the last 4 years it's moved on a piece as to how things work and whatever, and it's changing again for this year. So, are you happy with that? With that, then, Mike? Are we? Do we need a vote on that? Are we all right? Gordon,
Yes.
you happy with that?
Yes.
Okay. So did I do that just to make us aware?
No, that's fine. As I say, it's I think we tried to maybe put too much in last time.
Right. To agree time and date of the next meeting, 16th of February at 7:30. Agreed?
Yes.
To allow the public to raise any issues regarding today's meeting. Okay. Mr. Lewis.
Mr. Chairman, it states that parish council, town councils takes priority of any other meeting. On January 2014, Councillor Robin Stonebridge walked in here, then walked next door, put his apologies in here, then walked next door. I asked further on how many attendance he made, and the clerk says none. On September, you, Chairman, stated that he put his apologies in because he'd got something wrong with him. I asked you if he'd put a doctor's note in. You said no. So that didn't count.
I don't know about
Mr.
that.
Chairman,
Doctor's note.
I'm telling you,
No.
Mr. Chairman, tonight, first thing you said, all the Labour councillors has put the apologies in. Now, have they put them in individually? And what were the reasons? Or have they put them in all
They
together?
put them in individually.
All together?
Individually.
Well, what were up? You should make
No
a
idea.
statement.
No idea. You don't have to say it.
No, you should.
No.
Since I've been coming here, there's only one person who's done it right, and that was Councillor Crowther when he put a letter in because his father was ill. Now you are not doing your job right, nor is the clerk, because the clerk should demand, not ask them to attend, he should demand that they attend.
If you read this,
What you want to read
Can't
is
make
the
people.
chairmanship.
it says here, you are required to attend the meeting.
No.
Summoned.
He
No,
should
not
demand
summoned. You are
that
summoned.
they
Summoned.
come.
You are summoned to attend the meeting.
That's right.
Yeah, but if you say...
So you should stand down and also the clerk. Because the
You
clerk
can't
can
make
be
him.
prosecuted for not doing his job.
Yeah. We also like the public not to shout and bawl, but they still do it.
I'm not shouting and bawling, I'm just looking at you.
Yeah.
It's not
You
shouting.
want to read the book on chairmanship?
No,
Yeah.
John, it's not shouting, it's just trying to make sure you hear it.
I've heard him, yeah.
No.
Right, Mr Tone.
Yes, thank you. I'm going to refer you back to item 6 on the agenda,
Yeah.
part 7, which is concerned with the report of the companies in When Councillor Stonebridge was filming, or the day after, Councillor Stonebridge was still a member of the Council, I sent an email to Jackie Collins, the monitoring officer,
Yeah.
mentioning this and asking her to clarify. And she was quite specific in highlighting that the openness of local government regulations 2014 forbids members of the council to film members of the public. And furthermore, she also told me in the same email that she would contact the clerk of the council and I will also have a word with Mr. Sainsbury. Can the clerk confirm, did Mrs. Collins contact you?
No comment. It's so long ago, he's got no idea.
Sorry?
He said it's so long ago, he's got no idea.
Well, it's only 3 months, John.
Well, I can sometimes can't remember what I had for
I
breakfast.
need to know, either Mrs. Collins was telling a lie, or the clerk has received the email and neglected to mention it. Which is it?
I have no idea. It never sent it to me.
Can I come in? I mean, this thing about attendance at meetings, it's not just peculiar to Anston, it happens up and down the country. It's a sad fact that people are elected to stand to represent people. But what you get in, we're elected for 4 years, but what you tend to happen is in year 3 and 4, people who've made a decision they're not going to stand the following year, they tend to start sliding off the meetings, and the attendance levels get lower and lower. And from my calculations on this council, it tends to be the independents that are doing all the attendance. But what happens is also, in the last year, councillors, and I'm using the term in general terms now, who are not going to stand the following year, they calculate how many meetings they have to attend in order not to cause a council election. And I would argue that when Councillor Stonebridge attended the last meeting in, I think it was October, if you count forward 6 months, that will allow him to stay on the council for 6 months without an election being called. It happens all up and down the country, and it tends to be the political parties that do it, and all they're doing is they're keeping the seats safe. They keep the seats safe so they don't have elections, and it's a political issue, and at this level it shouldn't be happening.
We all agree with this, Stuart. I agree with you anyway.
I do.
Yeah.
We're here to
indeed.
represent you, and we should make an effort to come and
I've only
represent
missed
you.
one meeting in the last 6 years.
Well, that's good.
Not doing his job.
Eh?
I mean, I'm going to come in there. To be fair, the clerk really has no control on attendance. If a councillor doesn't attend a meeting for 6 months, and I'm looking just to make sure, but I think the clerk's obliged by law to inform the councillor that they are not a member of the council no more. And if they're doing what they're doing, they're calculating the time to stop the 6-month rule happening. There's not a lot really anybody can do. So it's just one of them things. You vote them in to represent you, and they ask for your vote every 4 years, and a lot of people then just push it back in your face by not attending meetings.
Can I come in, Chair?
No, sorry, we're moving on to Mr. Thorne now, we're moving on. You can't, yes. Yes, sir.
Two things, sorry.
No, it's all right, go on.
Two things. First of all, I think the idea that the RMBC, Killerton Park Depot, is put to community asset list is a very good idea. And I think the way of controlling it will be excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The other thing I would like to say, just about the application for the Christian Church, our idea was, or rather the professional advisor's idea was, that it would give it a certain openness. You all could have been addressed, and you'd all heard about it. But if you want to go another way, well, that you would.
Yeah. I did explain to them, the only reason I knew about it was because you asked my advice before you put it on the agenda. Right, Hillary?
Thank you. Item 7.9, Chair.
7.9, yeah.
The deed.
Yeah, got it.
It's the discussion regarding access over the village green at Northampton. It's been discussed quite openly tonight, and the question appears to be that number 8 are applying for access over the village green. What I'd like to ask the clerk, through yourself, the chair, is he phoning the owners of number 8, the village green, and threatening them because they're accessing their property, as he did me at number 10, the green?
You get that?
I didn't quite understand the question.
Have you, yeah. Question was, have you been ringing up people at 8 and threatening, same as you did, Mrs. Australia?
The answer is I've not talked to anybody from number 8, and I don't believe I talked to anybody from number 10.
Oh, certainly you did. You phoned me up at night, threatening
Dax
me.
Keys.
Mr. Sarda, I think it would be difficult to threaten you somehow.
You accepted it. And I got
No, you don't have to answer that.
You phoned me up and threatened me that you were going to close the access to my property. Are you doing the same to the people at number 8?
Don't think you could.
I don't think we can do that.
You already did.
Yeah. Right.
What did I say to
Okay.
him? I said, you threatened me.
Right. Okay.
Number 2.
Sorry,
Number
Mr.
2
Sadler.
questions.
Okay, Mr. Sadler, yeah.
I have made the snowy journey tonight
Yeah.
specifically to ask questions about dog kennel
Yeah.
and access generally, but that's of course strategy, that unfortunately the Labour councillors are not here.
Unfortunately.
Will I get extra questions at
You'll
the
get-
next meeting?
No, not actually, you'll get one question at the next meeting.
Well, I want...
Unless you actually write it down and send it in.
Right, so will I get...
Yeah, but it's still only one question, but we may be able to write for a
Make an exception, surely.
Chair, there's no limit on the amount of questions you can write in.
No, that's right. But you can only ask one question at the meeting.
You can only ask one verbal
That's
question.
verbal
Could,
question.
could we not? I mean, the chairman can have discretion if he wishes. Because of the, shall we say, peculiar circumstances tonight, can the chairman not exercise his discretion at the next meeting to allow Mrs. Sadler to ask 2 questions because she was denied
Surely,
it tonight?
I know you're intelligent, and you can put 2 questions together in the form of one.
Well, you
Quite
don't
easily can.
usually allow that, do you?
No, you put two
You're
questions.
very quick to jump in and say
Put
you've
two,
already answered the
no,
question.
put two questions together in the form of one question. It's very,
You don't usually allow that.
well, nobody's ever done that.
Well, we can, the councillors can take a decision on that.
Can I just say something,
Yeah.
Chairman? You're much more likely to get an answer or a more substantive answer if it's a written question, because if it's a written question, it's on the agenda, all councillors see it before, a week before, and then time to prepare.
Then they can stay away again, same as they have tonight. They've stayed
It's always
away
an option.
purposely to avoid addressing issues.
Yeah. Well, let's,
So they're going to do it again.
well, let's try it.
Also,
Let's try
there's
it.
another issue, John.
Yeah.
If it goes on the agenda, is it going to be stuck at the bottom and therefore will not get mentioned again?
No, if we don't get interrupted and the meeting flows properly, we'll
Well,
finish by
that's
half 9.
John.
That's
I would like to ask my statutory 2 questions plus 2 more statutory 2 questions. It's not my fault that councillors can't be bothered to turn up, or they deliberately stay away to avoid issues.
I'm sure we'd never do that.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're very honourable people and they'd never do
Well,
that.
I have your confidence.
Unfortunately, Mrs.
I
Hassan,
think they stayed away deliberately.
unfortunately, there's nothing statutory about questions. It's just what the council have passed to allow people to
Right,
do.
well, I'll have 2 for this time and 2 for the next.
But
Put
you're
your
only
order.
entitled to one anyway.
Can I
Well,
just,
you just said it's what the council decide we can have. So can I have 2 for this time and 2 for next?
Right, no, you can't.
Why
you
not?
can, you can give it to your discretion.
Okay.
Can I just ask, can I just come back on that, Chair? I mean, are you wanting to particularly address the councillors that aren't here tonight, as opposed to the ones that are here?
The councillors that are here cannot answer the questions
Right.
about core strategy, Dog Kennel Hill.
What you're actually wanting is their own views on it, I take it, rather than anything else.
Yeah.
I'll ask one of your questions.
What's the course? What's the
Other people can
What's
ask.
the Dog Kennel Hill one? What's the Dog Kennel Hill
It's-
question anyway?
I've heard of that one, John.
It's the site, it's
You
the
just quoted it.
Gypsy and Traveller site.
Well, that's what we've talked about tonight.
No, I'm not going to...
Clive, what are you gonna put on the register? Try and get on the register. The site for the gypsies.
Yeah, but the question is not about...
Isn't it?
RMBC Kibington Park Depot,
Yeah,
which is
that's it.
But
same
the
site.
question,
There are other questions,
the
John.
question is not about the asset register, it's about a question about the actual site, I presume. So it's not about the asset register.
Kevin.
I'm quite concerned about planning applications that come in through this council here. I mean, I was told last week about, I'm a big believer in Todwick new site being built for generating work and one thing or other. It's quite close to M1, got a good road network down to M1 now. Seems quite a good thing for relievers of traffic at South Aniston.
No, it's not.
And I was told that there were loads of units in Dinniton that were empty. Well, I've done my own work, unlike some people, and I've tried to get a unit in Dinniton, and I can't find an empty unit.
I looked at out January.
That is one item. The other item is this shoot.
Oops, there.
Well, that's not called for. That's not called for, that language there.
The other item is this, is that I was here only a couple of weeks ago when a chap put in for a planning application for an house just through Lice. He wanted to build a bungalow on his land. And he refused it on a traffic issue. But
He
getting
refused
open
it.
arms meeting before, you accept a planning application on Paxton's side. That one,
No, we didn't.
that one building for the side of Lice could have created for a family three cars. On Claxton's site, if you go up to a minimum, it would create 20 houses, a total of 60 cars, and yet there were no concerns.
Oh, yes, there was. No, you're wrong.
No, there was
No, you're wrong. You, can I just, well, you finish your question and I'll answer you then.
Remember this, it's on video.
Well, I'm quite aware of that. Yeah. Yeah. Good.
That were another application that were, and this council seems to be swung towards client for accepting or not
No.
accepting. Hang on a minute, let me finish. For accepting or not accepting planning applications. Last week the planning application come in for Main Street, and it were a garage under an house, I believe.
Yes, it was.
Councillor Thornton said to you, Clive, no, the councillor questioned it, Councillor Thornton did say to you, in that in Greenbelt, you said, yes it is,
No, it isn't.
everything's fine. It's that down and accepted it.
Well,
It's not in the green belt.
Well, that's wrong,
Not in
Mr
the
Cabinet,
green
because
belt.
it's not in Greenbelt.
Councillor should go and have a look at every planning application, conservation, but every council should look at every planning application for themselves.
Of course they
Not
should.
to sit and dictate.
No, I don't dictate it at all. I don't. I'm going to answer you, Kevin, on those. Can I speak? I think you'll find out that if I'm probably maybe the only one that does look at all the planning applications, because I'm pretty sure that most councillors don't, because they never have a view on it. Now, they're supposed to look at those, they come through every week, there's no problem getting on the Borough Council website. You can go through, you can make your own mind up. I put my views in, I don't say to people, you must vote for this, they make their own mind up. No, wait a minute, you've had yours, you've had your say, can I have mine? Please? Can I? Thank you very much indeed. You talk about the Todwick North site, well if you think that that's going to be beneficial to Anston traffic-wise, then I think you're sadly mistaken. Nobody's against, you obviously didn't listen tonight, we said we weren't against jobs. Somebody at Dinnington's done a survey of industrial, which you're going to interrupt me again, I know you are, but you're not, because I'm going to have my say. They've done a survey of industrial units at Dinnington, and they came up with the fact that there were quite a lot empty. There's a site there ready to be developed. Kevin, can I just finish, please? You've had your say, let's be right. Give me my chance now. Okay. So he's done a survey on all those sites. I haven't done it. I just know that there's a site there with roads in and street lights and telecommunications, etc. Are you just going to control it, John? And it's not being developed, so they should use that first. Todwick Parish Council against it, we're against it, Dinnington are against it. We can't all be wrong. Because can I just finish? No. Well, I thought you had, but you obviously not, have you?
No, because I'm concerned about it.
Well, I'm concerned.
As an Anston resident, I'm concerned.
Yes. No, and Kevin, I lived in Anston more than you have. Put it that way. Yes, you have. Are you 52? Well, aren't you? So you think that I don't appreciate what happens in Anston? Well, I mean, the Flaxton site, we didn't object to it. We made comments. We were supportive that it should be developed by something to go on it. We expressed concerns about the traffic problems there at Wrighton Road and the crossroads, that would be a problem. I can show you all the traffic management minutes that I go to, and I've raised it every time about the issues of that site, Todwick and at Bassetlaw. So I'm quite consistent on my approach. We do need, that site needs developing. I think everybody agreed on that, and at that meeting we supported that it was developed, but we raised concerns about the traffic implications. How would we get onto Wrighton Road? Because I still don't know how they're going to do it. Somebody's going to have to come up with a solution to it. But it wants something doing to it, because it's an eyesore in the village. And likewise the site at South Anston. You talk about that one near the crossroads. Councillor Ireland, Councillor Bakewell have the same views as me. I didn't suggest to them what they should say. They thought it was awkward being near the site of the crossroads. And it was squeezed on a very small plot, a one-bedroom bungalow.
Yeah.
Anybody, can I make a point to you, Kevin? Anybody can object to a planning application anywhere in Rotherham. You can support it, object to it, whatever. There is no limit on what you can object to. As a member of the public, a resident, a taxpayer, councillor, whatever, you're entitled to make those objections, or you can support it. So, well, no, if it's something that's worthwhile, then I'll support it.
Can I just come in?
Right,
can I just come in quickly, right? Just to correct some statements that I don't believe are true. The first one says about, you're discussing about plan applications. First of all, you're discussing about plan applications and saying we're not good. First of all, the Todwick site for the industrial area, there's no planning application in, so we can't discuss them. The empty units issue, I was at a meeting last week at Dinnington, and I think it was quoted there by somebody who's done some research that there was at least 22 units empty. I don't know what size or scale that is. So that's another correction. The question I'm supposed to have asked Councillor Jepson regarding the planning application for the garage, I didn't ask about Greenbelt. I asked if it was in the conservation area, so that's another thing I need to correct you on. Plaxton's, as far as I'm aware, there's been no planning application in for Plaxton's, so we've never made no decisions on that. And as for the garage and planning application, I assure you, I read these planning applications. I haven't got the technical knowledge that Clive has, but I read them. If a planning application refers to North or South Hanston or the parish of Hanston, I read them, because we get a list, 2 lists a month, is it, or 3 lists a month? Or 1 a week. So I do them, and I will tell you now, from my experience talking to councillors, the people sat around these tables now probably look more at the planning applications than the people who are absent, because it's us that are bringing up the points when these planning applications come in. As I would say to you is, keep observing the meetings when it comes to planning applications, and watch the councillors that actually try to discuss these planning applications, and you will see who actually takes an interest in them and who doesn't. If you've got any objections on planning, bring them to us, because you might have points we've not thought of. We're not experts, we try as best, and yes, we've all got different opinions on planning applications. You say you support the industrial units, I personally don't. But again, we have a system where we go through, it comes through to councils, and we have to make collective decisions. I don't accept your comment that we all defer to Clive on planning, because I assure you we don't. We might look to him for experience and knowledge, but we don't defer to him on planning decisions.
I'd like you to watch video.
Well, I mean, it's on video. I mean, I do watch these videos actually afterwards.
Sit down and study it.
Right, you tell me which part of the video I should look at. I'm quite happy to go look at it.
Sit down and study it.
I've made my statement, so I'm quite happy to stand by it.
Right, we've got the next meeting arranged. Thank you very much for your attendance. I close the meeting.